Hey, everybody. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to just take a second and say this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to talk about and or just have me listen to so that you can get off your chest, please do so. Let me know. Um, my lips are sealed. I just want to help anyone out that needs help out there. If you have anything that anyone you know needs assistance, please feel free to contact me and or let them know. Just let them know you care and that you're concerned for them because there's nothing wrong with admitting those things. Sometimes that's what it takes for you to take the right step towards recovery. That being said, today's episode is about the second half to the who I look up to. This is the outside of jiu-jitsu edition. um, if you have questions or subject matter that you would like to be covered on the podcast, please make sure you message me at Jose Becerra on Facebook or JJ Becerra 87 on Instagram. You can also message me on Parallel Jiu-Jitsu's Facebook page and or Instagram page and text me if you have my number. That's all for the intro. Please enjoy the episode. If you have any suggestions, feel free to drop a line. Let's get into it. Welcome to episode 5 of the Take One or Give One podcast. As always, my name is Jose Becerra, and let's get right into it. Last episode, I talked about who I looked up to as far as my jiu-jitsu career, and again, I focused a lot on Marcelo because Marcelo was a huge impact and somebody I looked up to and kind of molded myself after it as much as I could. Not just because of his jiu-jitsu, but because of his leadership skills and his ability to stay humble and be a nice human being while still being a savage. So as we get into today's episode, I'm going to be going over who I look up to outside of that jiu-jitsu world. And, I want to give a shout out again to all the mothers out there before I get into it. Happy Mother's Day. And if you're out there, let your mothers know that you love them and that you appreciate everything they do for you. Okay, I want to start out on that note. First and foremost, the number one person that I always looked up to and forever will be the most impactful person in my entire life is my grandmother. My grandma was the nicest human being I'd ever met, the greatest influence in my life, and honestly taught me so much without me even knowing that I was being taught. She had a way of I don't know how to put it. She had a way of instilling great values in me without me having to be told that I needed those great values. She never taught me in a lesson form. She just did. She just existed. And in that existence, I understood what I should do as a human being, and being able to care for people unconditionally and without reason, just caring is something that I couldn't see when I was younger. And I appreciate her for so much more, but I wish she could have seen, me post realization of those aspects of life. And I wish she could have seen my daughter. That's probably the single greatest regret I have in my life is not having a win before she passed away. Not that I had any knowledge that she was going to pass away or that it was expected, but I really wish I could have seen that. Um, as as I go forward, I have my mom. My mom's also been a great influence. Uh, my mom had, you know, grew up having multiple jobs, single mother for the majority of my life and my sister's life, um, taking care of us while juggling jobs. Um, something I also didn't appreciate for the longest time because I didn't really understand that and how it worked, how the whole work, financial income stuff goes. When you're a kid, you don't really realize those things. You want, and don't realize what it costs to get. Um, I grew up pretty poor, and for my mom to be able to do what she did for me and my sister, I, it's not able to be replaced or repaid. Um, I'm forever grateful for my mom for not only having me, but putting up with me my whole childhood and or life. Um, she's an amazing woman, and like I said, happy Mother's Day to you and to my grandma. Um, if you do listen to this, Mom, I love you. Uh, as I go deeper, I have um, Jonna, my wife. She she puts up with me more than just about anyone that's ever had to even deal with me in my entire life. I don't think there's a close second place to the stuff that we go through. Um, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate her greatly. And she obviously gave me my daughter, which is the single greatest thing that I've ever had in my entire life. So I'm forever grateful, and I love her too. And want to say um, Happy Mother's Day if she listens to this as well. And you can have Aaron and a lot of the guys on the team that can attest to the stuff that she puts up with me. Trust me, it's not as haha as you think. It's pretty serious. She deals with a lot of crap, but we mutually understand, and we get through it. We have tough times like everyone else, but I don't think anyone else could ever put up with me the way she does. So again, I appreciate the crap out of you. Um, Now, I want before we get into the person I'm going to kind of single out in this episode, I want to say not only is this about the people that I look up to and looked up to, but also the people I knew looked up to me that kind of changed the way that I did things growing up and or even in jujitsu. Um, so I wanted to give a quick shout out to like Jeff and Miles and all the kids in the kids classes when I first started, all my cousins, all my, distant relatives, and especially my sister, having them in my life, you know, being able to do something and have them know that they're going to see that what I do and or how I act, really changes my outlook on, you know, any given situation. Um, I like to think that I can react pretty well during just about any situation, especially under pressure. I know that I don't want her to look up to me and think, why would he do that, or he shouldn't do that, or he was a bad guy. Most people don't think of me that way, but you know, as I don't know, as maybe mean as this might sound, none of those people really mattered as much as my sister. I've always wanted to be a good influence for her and be there for her if she needs me. So, um, yeah, it's very important also to remember that people look up to you on a daily basis, whether you see it or not, whether you think about it or not. People are watching, and people are remembering the things you do and or say. Now, to the core of this episode. the reason that I'm singling out one person today is because they don't ever get credit, in my opinion, for the good they've done. And that person today is Michael Crist. Michael Crist is probably, as far as my adult life, one of the single most important people that I ever came across in my entire life. And it happened just kind of by chance, luck of the draw. I was able to meet Mike whenever I whenever I went to school. So I went to high school in Arcola, Illinois, graduated, went to college, went to Parkland, got a couple degrees, um, you know, went into job fields for my degree, and in that job, I ended up going to Porter Auto Body in Mattoon. I worked on a 4-man team. I think there was a total of like 7 or 8 employees, but there was 4-man team as far as the actual physical workers in the shop. And I got lucky and I got put with Mike. Mike is my kind of, I don't know how you say it. I was his apprentice, so to speak, or he was the one that was going to guide me and get me to learn the ropes. And I was nervous. Growing up, I know this is going to sound kind of, you know, cliche or a little weird, but whenever I was growing up, this whole racism thing was kind of still pretty strong. I mean, I know it's strong now with this whole situation we're in, but it used to be pretty bad back in the day. So, I didn't know how he was going to react to me. I didn't know how he would seem to get along with me. Lo and behold, Mike ended up being one of the coolest people I ever met in my life. So as we met, I was in pretty bad shape. Coming out of college, I ended up gaining a lot of weight because I had quit soccer, kind of just focus on my life and doing stuff like that. I didn't really go out much, and I'd accumulated. I think I got all the way up to like 252 pounds. And remember, guys, I'm like 5'6.5", so I'm not very big to be weighing 252 pounds. So I was coming out of college weighing that. By the time I got my job, that's probably down another 10, 15 pounds. Nothing crazy. Well, Mike, Mike was kind of like, I wouldn't say he was like a marathon runner. I don't want to place him as just a runner because he did lots more stuff, but he was in amazing shape. I'm talking, looked like, you know, Terminator coming down the street, always running shirtless, the dude that all the chicks are always staring at, right? This is the dude that's my coworker and my partner at work. And I'm thinking, there's no way we're going to get along. In the beginning, I just didn't see how we would have anything in common. Well, of course, as I go, um, I'll never forget, as we're going, we'd go we'd get lunch together. This is like a year in. We'd get in our lunch together. We'd get cereal at B&D in Mattoon. Just get like a bunch of boxes of cereal. We'd each taken a turn buying a gallon of milk whenever it ran out. His turn, then my turn. And we basically just ate cereal for her lunch and our breaks every day. And, the occasional trip to one of the restaurants, but he was generally a healthy eater. So it was kind of like different for me because I just ate whatever I wanted. But as we got going, his lunch breaks, he'd actually would leave and then come back and we'd eat cereal together. And I asked him one day, I'm like, what do you do when you leave? And he told me, he said, well, I go for a run. So I just try to get ready for my races. I said, oh, you race? He said, yeah. And I didn't really understand what he meant. And at the time, I didn't know anything about what 5Ks were and anything like that. And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I do 5Ks regularly, 10Ks, and I run the marathon in Champaign, the Illinois Marathon." I said, "Oh, wow, that's crazy, you know." And I said, "You like to run?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You know, so I've been doing it for a long time, and it's something I like to do." I said, "Oh, cool." He said, "You should come try it sometime." And I said, "I don't know about all that," you know, me being overweight and everything. And I said, "Yeah, one day." And he just kind of laughed, and we just kind of forgot about it. Well, a little while passed, and he's like, "You should come run, man. It'd probably benefit you a lot. You'd probably help." And I was like, I don't know, man. You know, kind of don't think it's for me. And he said, "You know what? I have a route that I do outside by this airport. We can go on lunch. We can run it, come back, still have plenty of time to chow on our cereal." And I said, "All right, I'll go with you, but I can't promise that I'm going to be able to run this." He said, "No, it's fine. You just do whatever you can. I'll circle back around and get you. No big deal." So we'd get out there. We get out to this spot, and he had a route that was exactly 5K. It was a crazy route, right? And to me at the time, like 5K, 3.1 miles is like a hell of a long distance. Didn't know what the hell was going on. Um, I had 0% of an idea what I was getting myself into. I looked at him and I said, "There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this." He said, "If you make it good, if you don't, we can try again tomorrow." I said, "Okay." I tried it and I failed. I didn't even come close to finishing the 3 miles. Um, and so I said, "Okay." He said, "Well, we'll try again tomorrow." I said, "Haha, okay." Well, I was sore, and Mike asked if I was ready to go the next day. And in my head, I was like, "Hell no." But Mike, he kept telling me without hesitation that I'd get there if I'd tried. I'd get there. So without thinking, I just did it. I just kept doing it, and eventually, me and the super athlete that I'm working with, um, got to where I could run a 5K, and you know, having him have that belief in me, even when I didn't have that belief in me, that was huge for me. And I didn't realize it at the time. Again, these are things that, you realize as time passes, but it was crazy to think, this guy has no reason to care for me, no reason to put any kind of faith in me doing anything, um, believed me enough to push me past my limits to get to where he believed I could go. And I did it. I ran a 5K. It was super long, but I did it. And of course, natural progression, he asked me to go do a race with him. And I said, "I don't know, man. I really think that that's too much for me right now." And he said, "Well, if you don't want to, don't have to, but you should, you should think about it." Well, needless to say, I signed up. Races for All Paces in Mattoon, and I completed my first 5K. It was strenuous. It was nerve wracking, but I remember finishing so strong. I was so tired, but when I got to like the last straightaway, I ended up sprinting. I don't know what got into me, but I was able to run. And, from that moment on, he had me uh, pretty hooked. Um, you know, as the years went by and I shared countless runs, bikes, swims, cereals, and gallons of milk with Mike, um, the most important part were the moments and the memories that I shared with Mike. So you see, Mike made me believe in me. We went on to race side by side in countless 5Ks. Um, I did biathlons and I did triathlons. I actually did 5 triathlons. Um, And I would have never done any of those things had it not been for Mike. I would never have lost weight had it not been for Mike. I really don't believe I would have. I don't know if I would have had that self motivation. um, and not only did I, not only did I compete in these races, but the miraculous part and the part that I hold very near and dear to my heart is I actually won every triathlon I did. I got first place in my age group, every single triathlon. I took second place in the overall one time in the group, and then he took first. And I'll never forget, I didn't even think I could do the swimming part alone, let alone um, running a 5K, doing a 400 to 700 meter swim depending on the race, and then doing a 15-mile bike is, it was unheard of it whenever I started. And he got me to that point, and he didn't get there by forcing me, not once. He didn't make me do anything. He didn't have me do anything. He just simply believed in me. And I didn't want to let him down. And I didn't, I made it, I made it to first place. I got trophies. I have medals. I had I had a whole group of people behind me. I ended up going from, I think when I started there, I was down to like 140, 240. And when I did my first triathlon, not my biathlons or my 5Ks, but when I did my first triathlon, I believe I weighed 158 pounds, that's insane. It's insane to me. And, you know, the reason that Mike is so important to me is because Mike had a terrible, I don't want to say terrible life because that's not true. He had a rough time in his life, a time that's going to stick with him forever. And, it's very unfortunate the way that society can put a damper on your life, but Mike can't bring himself to know that he's better than that person that he's labeled as. And, and I love Mike to death. There's nothing I wouldn't do for him. But Mike is the reason I was able to walk into my first jiu-jitsu class. You see, I trained jiu-jitsu without having an official team for quite a while. But I'd never had formal like gi classes and classes under an instructor. But Mike got me to that point, and Mike doesn't really understand that he completely changed my life forever. I don't know if he will get to hear this or if he'll even know that I did this, but if he does, I want Mike to know that thank you, and I love you, dude. Like this is very serious to me and very close to my heart. The world needs more people like Mike Crist, and I stand by that to the day I die. He took a chance on me, and I gave a chance on running. We tried, I failed, did it again and again, and my success was measured in just the completion of my first 5K. From that moment, I knew that all I have to do to accomplish something that I want to do is just work hard and work tirelessly, do what I have to get to that goal. I never looked at life that way. I always thought I was never going to amount to anything growing up. I was a very angry person and I was a very unhappy kid growing up because, growing up poor like I did, I never thought anything was going to be, positive in my life, should I say. I never thought it was going to be anything to come out of my life. I thought it was just another person, another existence in this world. And, like I said, my success was measured in the completion of my first run, not the medals and not the trophies that I got. It was being his friend and having his full belief and backing. If you have something you want to do, I just want you guys to remember, just you can go out and do them. I promise. Go out and try. Stay true to you. Stay humble. And don't be afraid to lose. Don't be afraid to fail, because that's how you learn. That's how you win. Success only comes from failure. If you've never failed, like they say, if you've never failed, you'll never win anything in life. You're never going to succeed, and you will never learn. Um, I know this is kind of a bit much straightforward, but I just want you guys to understand, people will look up to you, and you look up to, the people that you look up to have to understand that as well. We're all going, in the same direction. There's no going backwards, right? It's only going forwards. So as you move forward in this, in this life that we live, just remember, there's not a lot you can do to change the way something comes out. All you can do is brace yourself and know that you're going to make it through whatever failure comes your way. It doesn't matter if it's financially, if it's, with your family, falling out with family, um, marriages. It doesn't matter if it's friendships. It doesn't matter if it's your work. It doesn't matter if it's, it could be anything, just literally anything. It could be you were clipping your nails and you clipped one too short. You know what? You're going to remember not to do that next time, because that shit stings. So keep working towards your goals. Always move forward. And just learn from your mistakes. Shit happens, and sometimes we always think, we get comfortable and we think that this is going to be cushy and nothing bad's going to happen. Sometimes you're brought to the realization that that's not true. And, I'm here if you need to talk about anything. I'm more than happy and more than willing to help anyone. But that's kind of just what I want to go over today. Thanks, Michael, Crist, for being who you are, and thanks for everyone out there that looks up to me. I know it's not a large number, but those who do, just know that I care about you, and that's what I'm here for. I want to inspire you to do better. I believe in you, and I think that that's something that people need to know. I know this was a bit long. I hope you were able to take something from this episode. I know the show isn't perfect, but I'll continue to get better and better as I go, as I make my mistakes. Thanks again for listening. And as always, thank you for giving and taking that one chance.